And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Gem into Crypto, episode 1202. Today is Monday, March 11th, 2024, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto. Most days, Monday through Friday at 10ish. And today's top stories: Bitcoin breaches 71,000 for the first time. There we go. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF now holds more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy. Wyoming passes law granting DAO's legal status. Ethereum price hits $4,000 for the first time since 2021. And of course, we'll be talking about what I consider the first ever spoken / tweeted hard fork. That's right. Who cares about tech? Who cares about zeros and ones and codes when you can just hard fork off a statement, right? That's why we came into this space. But that and much more, first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and talk about these prices. I know you all are super excited on the day. Listen, we're going to be talking about some price action, all right? I am with you here as far as I'm definitely here for the technology, but unfortunately, depending on who you are, the price action is what brings more and more people to the space on the mass scale. And for those who want mass adoption, this is unfortunately a part of it. It's a part of normal people hearing your favorite rapper or artist and doing the bop or doing the dance that they created. And you're just looking at them like, that's not the way it goes. Well, that's what we're doing here in crypto and Bitcoin, but people are going to dance away regardless. I mean, do you remember the news back in, was it 2006 or 7 or 8 when Soldier Boy came out and they literally were on the news saying Superman that now understanding what super soaking and supermaning actually meant at the time. So yeah, they'll take it and run with this happening in crypto. You love to see it though. Bitcoin's coming in at hot $71,779. I did see it hit 72K already. So I'll say our all-time high is officially $72,000. It's up 3.17% on the 24-hour clock. Ethereum's at $4,032, up 3.03% on the 24-hour clock. BNB is at $516, down 1.82%. Solana at $147, up 1.74%. Interesting tokens rounding off the top 10. Number 9 is Dogecoin at 17 cents. You guys will see Dogecoin to $1 after all. But again, as I eloquently pointed out back in the day, a couple years ago at the time when that push is trying to happen, was that it's not if you will see Dogecoin to $1. It's will you see Dogecoin to $1 before Bitcoin reaches its next all-time high or ceiling, whatever. And that does not seem to be the case. And number 10, listen, keep on dreaming and dreaming. I understand people want to get rich quick. They say they don't care how it happens. If they got to wait 10 years for Shiba Inu to hit $1 or hit a penny, and Bitcoin's at 500,000 at the time, who cares? They made their money in Shiba. That's right. Shiba Inu at number 10 at 3,336 Satoshis, up 1.35%. And then after that, you have some of your goodies at number 11 through 15, including Avalanche, Polkadot, Chainlink, Polygon, and Tron. I can't believe getting beat out by the likes of Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. That is the market we're in now. And with that being said, your top, two of the top 10 coins being Shiba Inu and Dogecoin, I think it's great to say that the fear and greed index is at 89. I would go as far as say it's at 93 probably. Most visited tokens right now, that's a new one. Trending tokens right now are Pepe, DChat, and Floki. Recently added are 10pen, Baby Rats, and Myro Dog. Bitcoin dominance at 52.3% and Ethereum dominance at 18% as well. So that is the market for the day. And really quick, want to get some shout outs to everyone: Laura Smith, BK Crypto, Patrick Walter, Chloe Dior, Satoshi Slim, Yemi O. What's going on, Yemi? I actually just saw one of your United Africa Unites hoodies the other day. Chris Minka was going on. Hi, been nerd up. Let's see. All good being part of the new all-time high before the Having Club. That's right. Birdtown Music Group, El Debnum, Kevin, Bitcoin, Chris was going on. Crip Work. Let's see. People have no idea the price shock coming this year when the supply is dry. This is Power 9. You already know it. Bitcoin Chris, the LAI hit 140%. Nice. There we go. A lot of good tokens right now that are out there hitting on all fronts. I know a lot of people have been talking reindeer as well. Oldie but goodie for some. That's been hidden. Yeah, a lot of interesting projects out there. A lot of fun projects. Some, of course, much to do about nothing, but who cares, of course, when people are trying to make that Bitcoin back. Speaking of Bitcoin, top story of the day. And again, this is why I was so hesitant Friday. For one, I'm going to reiterate. We're not going to bash the Coinbases of the world. Who else were we talking about? Any of these centralized exchanges. We're not going to bash them one day and then the next day use them for price indicators. Like, that's not happening. I highly advise you don't do it either. You literally can't watch our show one day and agree like, yeah, man, I can't believe Coinbase stopped trading and Coinbase restricts wallets and these companies do this, and then say, well, Coinbase did all-time high. Except no. We're not doing that. We are not doing that from places like that. But what I will say is that, there's no rush, people. The price is going to keep pricing. The Bitcoin is going to keep pumping. The value is way above 72,000, believe it or not. So again, don't be surprised to see it at 75,000 one day, at 90,000 one day, 150,000. It will happen. The value is already there. It works. No one's been able to hack it. It works. Okay. I say all that to say that there was no rush to talk about the all-time high last week when we knew it was coming. And here it is. We officially have it now, right? It isn't just a 69,800, 69,999, 70,000 on one exchange for 5 seconds. No, it's actually there across the board. And this is what I like to see. Bitcoin breaches 71. I'll actually go as far to say 72,000 for the first time, which we saw. It broke its new high again. I'll say 72,000. A few days after Ether breached the $4,000 mark for the first time since 2021. Again, right now, today, we just saw that 71,779. The world's first cryptocurrency rallied over 10% the past week and 47% during the past month, according to CoinMarketCap. And that's the crazy part. We always say in this space, you make 80% of your money 20% of the time. This is at 20% of the time. The new all-time high comes 3 days after Ether breaches 4,000 mark for the first time, which we'll also be talking about. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, the market is full of greed. People are excited. I saw that it was a MicroStrategy doubled down. They used a $800 million note offering to buy more Bitcoin, now bringing their total up to 205,000 Bitcoin as a whole. But it's okay. BlackRock said, while we might not be able to get the underlying asset and beat MicroStrategy, we're definitely going to beat them with the ETF. And again, this is something we kind of expected to see. Why? Because the ETF is a derivative of Bitcoin. So I will say that this story, BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, the ETF specific, now holds more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy. According to data from BitMEX, BlackRock's IBIT now holds nearly 198,000 Bitcoin, outpacing MicroStrategy holdings. So this story, I believe, they kind of came out around the same time. They're going back and forth right now with buys to see who can have the most. This is great. This is what we wanted to see. This is why the market is pumping. It isn't retail investors, it's the institutions. We said they would come in late, and once they came in late, they will have to pick up and buy more Bitcoin because they lost out on it. Well, guess what? This is just MicroStrategy and BlackRock. You still got Fidelity that needs to catch up, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and every other wealth capital organization out there that needs to catch up. So you better believe there'll be other organizations beginning to do the same thing in this mad race to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. And that's where we're going to see that super hyper Bitcoinization happening, where you just see this price start to skyrocket. But right now, BlackRock is saying, hey, we won in. That's right. Their ETF has just outpaced MicroStrategy's holdings of the crypto. According to data compiled by BitMEX Research, BlackRock's IBIT now holds 197,943 Bitcoin, worth over 13.5 billion as of March 8th. But again, MicroStrategy has already came back with that $800 million note to buy more Bitcoin, which just pumped them up to the top. But again, the cool thing about this story is that it is happening. I will say, who knows how long this will happen, because all it will take is for a slight dip for either of these companies. I don't think MicroStrategy so much, or BlackRock, because they can hold on. But some of the other smaller companies that's getting into the Bitcoin space, all it's going to take is a slight dip for them to start selling it off because of investor confidence, right? So who's to say that these buys continue for the next year or so? But as of now, they all need more Bitcoin. They're seeing it. They're saying we do not have enough to sustain ourselves through in another bear market, especially once the halving happens. It's going to be even more difficult for them to buy it. And it's going to cost even more money. So again, this is pretty cool to see. You can actually see MicroStrategy on the stock market is up 642% over the last year itself. So for the people that are trying to diversify, it's funny, I was looking at stocks today. Any type of stock that has anything to do with crypto, AI, what else do we have? Microprocessors, chips, things of that. I mean, over the past year, they are up like hundreds to thousands %, which is abnormal in the traditional stock market. So again, one was a high tide raises all ships. I think we're seeing that here right now in the market. And this is a very good thing to happen as well. And then, really quick, might as well hit on the story since I'm talking about it. Ethereum is also in the mix. Ethereum price hits $4,000 for the first time since 2021. This is a few days ago. Of course, we're at what, $4,050 or so with Ethereum right now. The bad news, as always, the gas fees are astronomical right now. People, I was trying to do a couple altcoin simple transactions on the Ethereum side yesterday and the day before, and I mean literally one transaction was costing anywhere from $800 to $250. Like, that is some of the highest gas fees I've seen in a while. I will admit I was at, I would say, optimal trading time. So I'll go back, of course, and try when it's, maybe 3 a.m. or 11:30 p.m. or something. I'll try some off trading times. But as it stands right now, the Ethereum gas fees are back with a vengeance. They are crazy. And this is the problem with Ethereum and some of the altcoins on Ethereum right now, which is why some of the Ethereum competitors are getting these second and third looks, because it costs too much money to do business on Ethereum right now. They've tried almost everything. We're not going to do proof of work. We're going to change the way we do this transaction. We're going to change the way we scale. We're going to do this type of software. We're going to add this upgrade. And yet gas fees are still high. They have not figured it out. As of now, Ethereum is not the future. And I mean, really, it won't even work for corporations if they cannot figure this out. So again, race to the next ETF. I know that's why the price of Ethereum is really pumping to begin with. A lot of people are saying Ethereum will get the next ETF out there. I could see that happening, but I can tell you what, as long as those gas fees are what they are, you better believe banks and institutions will have issues. Even if this ETF gets passed and they start buying it, the minute they start doing any actual real transactions, bottom line, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Bottom line, not solving. I can't think of it, but by the time the transaction is actually finished and they actually do all the back end accounting, they're going to notice how much money they're spending on that network. I don't see its long-term potential unless they're literally just buying and holding. So if that were to happen, I can see it being a good ETF. If there's any actual transactions going on the back end, it starts costing banks and wealth management firms thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of gas fees, they're going to nix that in the bud and say, why not just do XRP? Why not just do the next ETF that we have planned? And then that's where we'll start to see the hyper influenzation of actual ETFs. I just made that word up because I'm having brain freezes today. I can't think of no words. It's terrible. But yeah, so Ethereum again, all time back to some of its all-time highs. I know a lot of people are excited to see that. People had been sitting in Ethereum for a few years now, waiting for this to come back. And it is officially back. You got to love some of these long candles that we're seeing on some of these charts and markets as of recent. But again, Ether climbed from a price of $3,873 on March 8th, soaring more than 4% in the last 24 hours at the time, and a 74% year-to-date gain to hit a 27-month high at $4,003 on Bitstamp, according to data from CoinMarketCap. Again, a lot of people are waiting for this spot ETF approval. I do think it can happen, although I do think as it actually matures, it would be pushed back against from other institutions that are saying, why are we spending this much money on this token just to receive more capital when we can do that with Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies? All we have to do is get them passed. I see them get another cryptocurrency pass with lighter gas fees to make that ETF happen. But we'll see. Of course, we'll see. It always depends on regulations and how that's actually going to happen. It looks like right now the regulatory market is super friendly. So I'm not sure who sat down the SEC Gary Gensler. I'm not sure who sat down some of the other regulatory agencies, chairmen and CEOs and all the directors. But someone, BlackRock, sat them down and was like, you're going to fucking listen. You're going to, loosen the reins on these regulations, on the regulatory environment. You're going to let us run free. And that's what's happening right now. Let's see. S1 Dove said Ethereum basic design flaw. Oh, I just had, there we go. Not easy to fix while the engine is running. Exactly. I mean, this whole thing, I mean, all it is a scaling issue. But this is why SegWit 2X and these things were so important for Bitcoin, because it was like, hey, let's solve this issue before the general public comes around and starts, we want to do it this way. We want to do that way. What's happening? Like Ethereum's going through that now, while they're popular at the same time. I don't think that's a good thing at all. Chris Minka said, if you get an Ethereum ETF, that's the end. You won't get any other shitcoin ETFs. Again, I'm kind of with you. Resolve and settle. Birdtown, thank you. Listen, y'all know the words I'll be looking for. I'm sorry. It's 7 a.m. over here, okay? I'm waking up. I'm getting straight to the show half the time. Actually, that's a lie. I usually wake up a few hours early and work out. But still, I wake up super early and I get straight to the show. I have brain farts. Today is one of them. Resolve and settle were the words I was looking for. When it comes time to actually settle the contracts, resolve contracts, get the bottom line numbers out for everyone, I think you will have issues on Ethereum. So I say that to say, Chris, I'm with you. It kind of is the end all be all ETFs, but I think it's actually just the beginning. The moment they get the Ethereum ETF passed, now it's like, all right, we got two. Can we do the three? Three is a trend. If we can get three, we can get the rest, right? These private companies are working like the government, right? When they say, hey, we just want a little taxes, we want some information. Yeah, that's in 2023 and 2024. By the year 2030, they're going to want more information and more taxes. This is working the same way with private companies. They're saying, hey, we just want a Bitcoin ETF. Like, why not? It's Bitcoin, guys. It's the biggest asset. All right, we get it. Why not Ethereum? Everyone's using it. It's corporate. Might as well. You get the Ethereum? All right, what's number 3 on the list? Look, Bitcoin and Ethereum works. Why not just add one? You get that one more added, it is over. The floodgates are open, and that is what they want. Why? Because you lose track. It's hard to regulate. As a private company who's hoping to make money off derivatives, fake fairy money, paper notes, I want to make money off something that's fake. The best way for me to do it is dilute and saturate the market to where people can't keep up anymore. I don't know, Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETF, Ripple one. We got a Pepe ETF. It's just ETFs out the boat. I don't even know which ETFs to pick. Of course you don't. That's why you need to do it with someone who's a professional, with a company who's been doing it for 60 years. That's right, BlackRock ETFs. We've been doing crypto ETFs since the invention of, these are going to be the commercials in the narrative, all right? And this is what they want. With over 60,000 crypto ETFs to choose from, don't make all the heavy lifting. Come on, I do commercials. I know how this is going to work. Don't do all the heavy lifting on your own. Come on down to BlackRock, a MicroStrategy, and let us show you how to do it. Like, that is literally how it's going to be laid out. So they want more ETFs. I think it's going to happen. I think they just need to get Ethereum passed in order to get that second one. As soon as they get the third, they're off to the races. So we'll see what happens with that. Bitcoin is going to put too much pressure on the USD, higher interest rates incoming, no more ETFs. Now, that is something I would consider stopping it. If now it's becoming a national security threat, whereas it's like, oh, whoa. These crypto ETFs are taking off and crypto super taking off, and no one's looking at the dollar anymore. We officially have a national security crisis. Now, that part could slow down the ETF. I actually agree with that. We'll see what happens, though. Let's see. Yes, if we get an Ethereum ETF, I won't say right after Robert, but I agree. Solana will get one. Of course, if you've been paying attention, I know Solana has been pumping. Who is it? I can't think of the company right now. Let me look it up. I know it's a company talking about buying up a ton of Solana from FTX. Pantera Capital, I believe it was. Pantera Capital is talking about buying up a lot of the FTX Solana. And of course, people are saying if that were to happen, it should push the price up. But now everyone's asking, is that price point already baked in? Now, if it were for the Pantera Capital news itself, I would say yes. I think the price is baked in. Maybe you can get to 180, 200. As soon as that announcement is made, if it so happens, you will probably see a dump. But long term, as long as they keep building, they have something as of now. All right. I mean, people, Ethereum gas fees are high. Like Solana, whoever, like you can't miss right now being an Ethereum competitor. Why? Because they can't even compete. I literally decided for the first time in a long time I wasn't going to put up with it, and I wasn't going to do Ethereum transaction right now because I was just like, no, like I'm like, especially with Bitcoin pumping, I'm not about to give you $300 to $500 worth of transaction costs that could go to another crypto. Right? I literally could just put 300 to 500 on the meme coin, sit here for the next 2 months, and get the money back plus more versus paying the gas fee. So it was like, no, that's not going to happen at this point. And that's from someone who has it. So what's happening to people who don't have it? Like, I'm not believing it. So any Ethereum competitor is in like doing great right now, I would say. All right. What else do we have going on? See a lot of different altcoins. Oh, yeah, the altcoin casino is happening. I love to see it. Wyoming, people, this is huge news. Huge. This is huge news right here, people. Okay. Wyoming passes law granting DAOs legal status. I've said it many times before. When it comes to regulations and what is it? Judgments. When it comes to any type of legislation, judgments, regulations, oftentimes whoever does it first will set precedent, or at least make way for an appeals process for other things later down the line. So right now, Wyoming passes law granting DAOs legal status. Just because Wyoming did it, you better believe. So technically, it doesn't make it legal everywhere else, right, in the United States, but it kind of does, because now people can fall back. Well, Wyoming is saying X, Y, Z, and again, the federal government and other states could say that's that state that has nothing to do with us. But just the fact that you have a judge, you have regulators, you have all these people in one state backing you, you're in a great position. The new regulation enables decentralized autonomous organizations to establish contracts with third parties, open bank accounts, pay taxes is what they really want, and provide liability protection to his members. This is why they gave it legal status, because it's almost like marriage. It was hilarious me seeing people get so up in arms about, regular marriage, gay marriage, this marriage, whoever's allowed to get married, and then you start seeing it get passed, and then you even start seeing churches endorse it. When talk 10 or 15 years ago, you're like, wait, churches would have never endorsed X, Y, Z, or the state would have never endorsed X, Y, Z. And then you do a little digging, you realize, no. Half the reason, if not all the reason they're endorsing most of this stuff is because it's more money for the state. It's more money for the church. It's more money for all these private institutions across the board. This is no different. A group of people said they wanted to make a decentralized autonomous organization. At first, the government bucked back. What is that? Oh, it's just a bunch of people. No one owns anything. And we just want, the government said, fine. You know what? We're going to legally give you all that PIN number, that social security number that everyone else got. We're going to give it to you because that's a receipt. That's a receipt to say you owe Uncle Sam. If you know Uncle Sam, he always wants a taste, all right? And that's all this is. So congratulations. This is why I am anti-regulation. I'm for self-regulation, because there is no reason as of now for a DAO to be paying a tax. But they get it. I understand the U.S. is smart. Our government sees it. They're like, wait. You mean to tell me a bunch of random people got together and put 300 million plus in a pot, and y'all just going off of an app to vote on it? Yeah, whatever. You got legal status, whatever. All right, this is how much this anonymous thing owes to us every year. Oh, and now we're going to actually add regulation as well to provide liability protection. So all I just read was Wyoming's passing a law to grant DAOs legal status so they can tax them and make you now have to pay for insurance. They just put the insurance and tax game on DAOs. Hilarious. Once again, I want to point out, I have no clue how a state or even a country could grant a legal status or grant any type of regulatory status to something that has members in it from around the globe. That's right. There are people in Iraq in these DAOs. There are people from North Korea in these DAOs. There are people from America in these DAOs. There's people from South America. There's people from all throughout Europe. There's people throughout Africa. There's people throughout the planet in these DAOs. And yet, not only does our federal government have the nuts and gumption to say we're going to tell the entire planet what the rules are, but now you got weak ass states like Wyoming saying, hey, just to let everyone know, this is the legal status, and you now need to pay taxes and have insurance for your members. Even the members in Iran who might be a part of this DAO, Wyoming, if I were the government or a competing state or someone who wasn't for this, I would immediately go after Wyoming right now and be like, do you know every member of that DAO? Because I swear, if I find one that's from a fucking country we're at war with, oh, Wyoming, we're on your ass. We are on your ass. Because in no other space are you allowed to do it. As a private company, I can't say, well, all right, just going off of what Wyoming's saying right now. Hold on. Wyoming is saying we're granting these DAOs legal status. All right. This is how easy. This is what Reggie Middleton actually talks about when he says how this market's super immature, but they're making these type of decisions, whereas like in any other market or anything else, this would be huge fines, jail time, all these other issues will be abound. But because it's here, you're allowed to get away with stuff. Of course, his argument is the patent thing. My argument is in general. I've been saying this since I joined the market in 2016, where I saw a bunch of developers and coders running businesses where I'm just like, yo, why are you running an exchange, bro? Like, you literally have no clue what you're doing to business. You just know how to develop. This is the same thing to me. Wyoming, I just want to make sure this is clear, people. Wyoming is saying with this new regulation, this DAO, this decentralized autonomous organization, can now establish contracts with third parties. So the state of Wyoming is saying that this DAO can now establish a contract with me. Now, if I establish this contract with this DAO and I find out I'm doing business with someone who's against the United States, who gets in trouble? Who do I go to? Where is that protection? Because suddenly, literally, as soon as you do business with them, the moment, who are some of the senators, like Pocahontas and some of these Elizabeth Warren and some of these other people who are against crypto, who are trying to do everything else to kill crypto, Elizabeth Warren and all these other folks. What is going to happen the moment they find out literally one or two of those names or addresses in the DAO belongs to Hamas or belongs to whatever other organization U.S. isn't getting along with that day? Does the third party business get in trouble? Does the DAO get in trouble? Does the state that regulated all of a sudden and said this is okay get in trouble? Because I can already tell Wyoming did not do his due diligence as far as saying an entire DAO has legal status. So this is what I mean about this, the fuckery of the space right now. The IRS is like literally right now on your taxes saying, check this box if you did crypto. We need to tax crypto. But at the same time, you have a separate state giving legal status to one DAO or to all DAO. Like, how is this working right now? This is absolute man. They can't control it, people. They can't control it. Like, literally, they just granted a DAO a legal status in the United States. And tell it like this to me is the same as the SEC granting Coinbase the ability to trade on a public in the public stock market, and then doubling back saying, we're not saying that they're they're regulating, everything's on the up and up. We just gave them permission to trade. So it's the same thing. You're telling the American people in public that DAOs are now legal statuses. But literally just 6 months ago, if that, you had half of the Senate and Congress saying, oh, no, Bitcoin and crypto still being used by criminals and they're using it to fund Hamas. Like, make up your minds. This is absolutely, and what's crazy, they're only doing this for the tax money. Let's be super clear about it. If there was, if DAOs, if all the DAOs on the planet combined only had $1 million in capital, this would be a non-starter. It would still be fucking illegal. It would be just as illegal as any Bitcoin mixer or anything else out there, right? They would make it illegal. They would try to arrest people who start. They did try to do that. But now that we crossed that threshold of, oh, all the DAOs together might be worth, $4, $5, $6 billion. Now all of a sudden it's like, we need to grant them legal status in states. This, like, the corruption is beyond me at this point. I don't know what to say about it. The only thing like more corrupted and messed up about this story is the next story I'm about to segue into. And and before I get into it, I want to know who can guess what the next story is about. I didn't go into it. I just said it was the first ever tweeted Hardfork. Let me know in the comments what shit coin is the next story about. It was the first ever spoken / tweeted Hardfork. That's right. It didn't take any real code. It just took one human being to tell their whole community the Hardfork has just happened, and it just happened. Now, I mean, it's absolutely hilarious. I don't know which story is worse. Is it Wyoming granting maybe some of our enemies legal status in the United States, or is it the next story where literally a person, not the code, a person just say, hey, y'all, we're going to Hardfork today. And everybody was like, all right, cool. Oh, we got some winners in the comments. A few people are saying Hex. A few people are saying Shiba. You are right, people. The name of the game is Hex. I'm about to get on this story. Oh, my goodness. Like, I want to be clear. I am not taking victory laps as much because I don't want to take a victory. I want your fucking brains to understand outside of Bitcoin, most of the tokens, and by most, I mean 99.8%, are for fun. Like, they can be condensed into one. Like, majority of the projects, you can do it on Bitcoin, people. That is the whole point. When we say that the project isn't worth shit, the main reason why we're saying it's not worth shit is because they don't have the volume. They haven't had the scale. They haven't had the microscope over the project the same way Bitcoin has. And for about almost every project out there, you can literally do it on Bitcoin. It just takes longer to build. It's more difficult. It's more time consuming to build it than it is on other platforms, which is why other platforms were created, because they said, hey, Guys, it's very hard to code all this on Bitcoin. It takes time. It's too many people watching it. How about we just do it faster and sleeker on our end, and we do a different project, and then you have an altcoin. That's literally the thing of an altcoin, people. An alternative coin to Bitcoin, since it is literally trying to do the same thing, but just at a faster pace or with less regulation. And by regulation, I mean from the actual Bitcoin contributors, those who actually develop and code. All right. Like that's the reason for the altcoin. And that's the reason why I say most of these coins are shit. It's not even like I need to do a deep dive. It's like I take a quick 2-minute peek and I'm like, oh, you can build that on Bitcoin. So why are you doing it? Oh, well, and then you get the long answer, the 150-page white paper. Oh, we're actually doing our own altcoin because Bitcoin is like, okay, so you just don't want to code. Just tell me you don't want to code on Bitcoin. Like you're not doing it for any other reason than the fact you don't want to code on Bitcoin. That does not make your project the next best thing. It just makes it a thing, okay, that people don't understand yet that could be done on Bitcoin. So they say it is the next best thing. Now, with that rant being made, I say all that to say Hex, just like many other projects, it's not that I'm just trying to shit on Hex. Is that you all are like putting the belief behind it, like this is the fucking future, and it's not. It really isn't. It's so crazy. But no, you don't listen to people who've been in this space for years who eye it every day. You want to listen to the new project founders who are trying to sell it to you. So hey, can't be mad at that. You gotta love you. I just saw somebody say Bit Connect. You what's up, what's up, what's up? You already know it. But hey, what I love is that the project founder even came out and was like, don't be a dumbass. Of course, no one's going to use it. We're going to use a new thing. So basically, exactly what I told you too, as well. And I mean, honestly, if you want to go back even further, I distinctly remember doing a sponsorship on this show, and essentially it was a Hex fork, and that was my beef at the time as well with Hex. I was like, yo, if somebody could just fork it this easy and make a brand new project, then literally all they have is brand name under it. So to see that already happen and the community or their community ignore it, like literally a fork happened of Hex that we had as a sponsorship and it worked perfect. And for their community, be like, oh no, whatever. It's like, oh, really? All right, if you think that, and then here we are. But before I get to it, I just want to finish Wyoming. Like I said, you know, I don't do these deep dives into stories. Really quick, I'll go to Hex, but I just want to finish this story with this tweet. This again is Wyoming. This is huge news. You can see this tweet from Ross Shield, registered as a DUNA legal entity, will enable DAOs to engage in legal contracts with other entities and provide legal protection to individual DAO members. Other legal entities available to DAOs fall short on these metrics. Again, provide legal protection to individual DAO members. Wyoming, do you know all the members of a DAO? Like, wow. I can't believe this is passed. Once again, people, I'm telling you right now, like this isn't over. That's what I'm gonna say. The short version is that this is not over because again, Wyoming kind of made way for a foreign national or a terrorist to say, hey, yeah, I do business with the US through a DAO, through a digital, you know. So very interesting to see. But now that I've said all that, I want to make sure I wrap that story up with a nice little bow, and it's been wrapped. Now on to bigger and better things. Woo, man. Oh man, people are talking crazy. Do you know the creator of XRP made Bitcoin? I can't tell are we doing the trolling thing today or what. But let's go ahead and talk about it. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is one day, folks. I mean, goodness gracious. This is a 7-day, just so you can see the chart. Look at that red candle. So you might be asking yourself, what happened to Hex? Well, essentially, and shout out to Richard. He actually used a clip from our interview on here. It was funny as hell to see. I was like, oh, why am I on the video? I saw a Richard Hart tweet or something, and I saw my face on. I was like, what's going on? But essentially, when he was on our show, I guess he alluded to so yeah. Richard been planning this shit for a long time. They have I don't know if he did or someone else from his community did. They essentially have clipped out when he was on our show for the interview, and I guess he basically said something when he was talking about post chain. He I guess already alluded to, hey, once post chain is here, we're planning on doing things on post chain. We're not thinking about Ethereum, so on and so forth. Well, it looks like that what he alluded to ended up coming to fruition. He essentially had a tweet saying that, hey, he doesn't want to see either the Hex's price drop or wherever, but the true Hex and the real Hex, of course, will be on post chain, because why would you stay on Ethereum and pay outrageous gas fees? Now, to be clear, Super agree with you. And these were some of the things that were brought up to begin with, not just by like folks who called in on Gem and the Crypto, but I even think Reggie Middleton brought up this type of stuff where it's like, bro, you're built on Ethereum or whatever. So from a technical point of view, we agree with you and we understand. However, that's not what you were selling to your people. That's not what you were telling everyone. You weren't telling everybody, hey, this thing's going to disappear and be a thing of the past because we're going to migrate. You were telling everyone this is the thing. We'll also have something else coming, but this is the thing. And up until last week, literally, goddamn, whoever called in, the guy who called in, I hope you're okay. I hope you're watching today and you're okay. I can't remember his name, but he literally called, the guy called in a week or two ago saying, yeah, I got a wife, a family, I got kids, I work, and I'm like, I hope you're not putting your kids' college fund in Hex, is what I told him, right? Like literally, you just had somebody call in and pump Hex. And this was my thing. I'm like, you guys got to be fucking nuts if you trust this. So let's get into it. Richard Hart essentially said that, hey, this isn't a real Hex. The new one is on the post chain or whatever. And they didn't say who it was, but some huge whale took out a lot of capital from the old Hex, where you saw the initial dip happen. And of course, once one whale takes out a lot of capital, a shit ton of others follow. But you literally saw this volume in one day. You can see here it's at 1.31 million to $10 million of withdrawals, 11 million, 12 million, 13, 15, $20 million, people. $20 million of volume in 24 hours going the wrong way out the door. Again, 7 days down 60%. And again, this is at a time, and this is, this is at a time when Bitcoin is pumping. And this is my point. This is my point. This is my point to all the Hex people. I mean, I literally had a white Hex rapper invite me to his genitalia because I disagreed with his thoughts on Hex. Can you believe this? What the fuck? Listen, this is my point. How many times have I said it? When I said it's not about will it reach a certain point or will the money printer go burr? It's about if Bitcoin is doing it at the same time. That's literally, we've said this from day one. It's not about can you make your money in Ripple or can you make your money in this or that. It's like, will you be able to make the Bitcoin equivalent of your money in that and buy the Bitcoin, or will you be making the fiat equivalent and then having to buy a higher price Bitcoin? But again, many people in this space, like the guy who called in, heads are, I mean, he even admitted it. So I'm not saying as a diss, but their heads aren't wrapped around Bitcoin and the future of digital currency. Their heads are still wrapped around fiat and the US dollar. So all they're seeing is Pepe coin, Hex, what's the other one? Shiba Inu, and all that's all they're seeing because they're like, I'm getting more dollars. But if you actually look at these tokens next to Bitcoin, you're losing Bitcoin on these tokens. So this is like the prime example of now you have Bitcoin at an all-time high. And literally up to a week or two ago, you still have people screaming Hex. And while Bitcoin's pumping at an all-time high, Hex is going down 60%. Like, I mean, at the very least, can these same people tweet and come back on and say we were wrong? Or are you still going to do that shit where you're just like, nope, yep, I'm just going to ignore it. I made a little mistake. It's all good. We're going to push, like, and that's what they keep doing. That's what they keep doing to the next token, to the next community, to the next group, is the same people. And my only question for all these people all the time, because if you remember, they kept saying the Hex community, oh, we bought houses with our money. We bought where? In bumfuck, where the hell you at? You're not buying no houses in LA, New York, or Miami. I mean, and no offense to the rest of the United States, I'm from Detroit too, but I don't even care about that many. Let me be clear about this. When it comes to the international world, I personally don't even care about that many US cities, because on the international scale, they don't fucking know you. All right. So I just basically, outside of New York, outside of Los Angeles, I'll throw Vegas in there and Miami. Vegas and Miami are still, even themselves are only like so. The rest of the world doesn't know you. No one knows. So yeah, you bought that new house and wherever the fuck you bought it at, they don't know. They know Texas. I'll be fair. They know Texas. The world, everybody knows Texas, all right? Because everybody knows Texas don't play. The world knows Texas. The world knows Los Angeles. The world knows New York. Every other city and state, the world does not know that well. So Hexicans, where were you buying these houses at? I need to know this, because what the fuck? Where were these houses being bought at? Because y'all were talking like the world has changed because Hex pumped a little bit. I want that same energy on days like this. Now, some people are saying, King, the energy is the same. You're looking at the wrong token. You need to do your homework, son. And I'm going to do my homework. Boom. This is the new token. Hex on Post Chain. That is right. Hex on Post Chain. And my thing is this, just to give you some consideration, right now is at 19, what? Oh, I said 19 cents, 0.019 cents, so a little bit under a penny. And yesterday I did talk about, I mentioned them in the Discord because initially I was like, this could, I will be clear, Hex is actually at an optimal time for trading. It is at an optimal time for trading this Hex on Post Chain. Why? Because there's so many people who have so much capital wrapped up in it, and not even in capital now. We're beyond capital. There's so many people who have their entire mental wrapped up into it. You got to remember, Hex is a gang for some of these people. So there's some real game banking going on for Hex. And my thought is that so long as that continues, yes, even the Hex on Post Chain, especially as the Bitcoin market pumps, I do believe it actually will pump. So I will be fair. I think it's a good trade in the short term, especially. I think it's, if we see Bitcoin go to 80K, 85,000 here in the next few weeks, few months, I do strongly believe the likes of like Hex could pump a little bit. But then it's like, well, where to? So for that, I want to go really quick to its old charts. If you see its all-time high in 21 was at, what is this, 5 cent, or excuse me, 50 cent. God, I didn't even know it went up that high. So it was at 50 cent. I'm not going crazy thinking they can go that far, but I do strongly believe Hex has some bounce back to it. I will be fair about that. And for the Hex I'm talking about the new one, the Post Chain one. I will say, from what I noticed, Richard made a point that he wanted to see both Hexes doing well. I want to go as far as to bet on both or gamble on both, but since this is the one he's actually putting his money behind and is not on Ethereum, I will say I actually do see it as a tradable token right now because it is that low and it does have bounce back, and they do have a community. No matter how obnoxious they are, they do actually have a community. So I will say that I do think it's a tradable token. I do think this will pump some, if not actually pump to like 3 to 5 cent type of deal. Again, the main thing is going to be what will be the price of Bitcoin and other assets at that same time once it does happen. But I do think it will happen. Why? Because people just love it for whatever reason. I wasn't sharing my screen. Pardon me. I was sharing the screen in the background. But really quick, I want to check out this tweet. And again, this is, if Hex has done anything, they have broken the record. This, again, people, I want to make this clear. This is the first ever hard fork that someone just said and tweeted and it happened. This is what their community decided to base the strength on. It's not code. It's like they claim it's code and it's all this other stuff. But every time I ask, with the exception of Jams, every time I've asked majority of the community anything about the code, like the guy last time, they get to do. All right, so you don't know what you're talking about when you say code. So don't mention code. All right. But this has literally been one of the first forks that did not rely on code. It relied on a human said for the fork to actually happen. So here it is, a tweet. This isn't the actual tweet he put as far as why. I can go back to it in a second. But this is a tweet that he put out last night. And this is what I mean, where it's just like tone deaf to your community and it's messed up. Like, I do actually feel bad for the people who put a shit ton of their capital into this, which is why I kept saying, like, hey, you might want to rethink it. And this isn't like the future. It's like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm really just trying to say, like, yo, this is your money, man. Like, this is a huge risk right now for your money, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, I got the high pitched voice. I care about you. Okay. This is literally me caring about you. So that's from a person who's not even in the community, a person who's in the overall Bitcoin and crypto community saying, hey, just want to make sure you're doing your due diligence. That's me. And the person who is in the Hex community, who created, who started, who you all love, this is their thoughts. Richard Hart right here in a tweet. Haters mad. Most coins in crypto are down today. He's talking about yesterday where most coins took a 1 to 3% dip for about, I would say 8 hours max. I was watching the charts this entire weekend, people. I've been watching the charts this entire weekend. You're talking about a 1 to 3% drop in 8 hours. And he says most coins in crypto are down today. All right. So again, disingenuous. I strongly dislike when people do that. 3 of these are not. Haters were not, and for one of the 3, I think he was talking about Hex and Post Chain not being down yesterday. 3 of these are not haters. And by the way, this, if you can't read in between the lines, they're not down because he made the tweet announcement to swap tokens. So He literally made an announcement to swap tokens. People swap tokens and the new one pumped. And then he makes a tweet and saying, 3 of these are not down. 3 cryptos aren't down today. Haters, we're not losing. We're winning. We're not getting weaker. We're getting stronger. Look at the charts. All right. I'm going to do what he said. I'm going to look at the charts. Here's the first chart. All right. Let's go 7 days. In fact, let's go 1 day. Let's go 1 day. All right. There we go. 1 day. 0.02 cent, 0.03 cent, down to 0.019. All right. So far that's a miss. And that is, oh wow, that's for the Hex on post chain too. I thought that was the old Hex. Hilarious. All right, let's go to the old Hex. Wow, this is a day for them. 0.011 to 0.004%. So which, and this is what I mean, like the rhetoric. Every Hex person will say, look at the charts. We keep looking at, you know what? Let's give them a year. We keep looking at the charts from a year ago. We are looking at the charts. This is what they want you to believe. And again, I am highlighting this to highlight the absurd. I don't even know the word. Absurd is, I know it's absurd. Absurdity in this space. Like literally, people are gang banging on other people about buying Hex. When this happens, they're nowhere to be found. Hexrit. That's hilarious, Don B. The Hexrit. It's unfortunate to say the least. It's definitely unfortunate. It's embarrassing to see. And I honestly, Richard, I can't believe he's still pumping it. Now, I will say this. I already know what's going to happen, people. I'm calling it out. Clip this shit. This was going to happen. As I just mentioned, Hex is now officially a tradable token again because he just, like, honestly, all he did was just start over. And this is how the crypto game works. So he just started over with Hex on post chain, right? A lot of Hex communities pissed off, whatever, blah, blah. He don't even care about y'all. He already got y'all money and went on Louis Vuitton sprees. He's gearing up for the next bull run. And the best way to do that is to have a new token. That way, when you look at charts and graphs, for example, right now, I'm about to show you how this is going to work. We got a couple of minutes. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to show you how this works. All right. So you got a new token Hex. All right. You got a new crypto influencer that pops up because Bitcoin's at $80,000. They want to tell the world about the new wave, and they need a community to conjoin themselves with too. Why? Because they don't have any real information about Bitcoin or crypto, nor do they know how to code or do anything real, right? They don't have any real experience. They just know how to sell. They know how to talk. So they're like, all right, I need to join a community with a coin that's semi-new that I think is going to pump to have people. So every day I can do videos and say this coin to 10,000. Tomorrow it's going to be to 1,000%, 6,000%, 500, whatever, right? We need that. Let me look at some coins, right? Let me look at some top whatever coins. Oh, here's Hex, especially coming from someone who doesn't know about their past. You look at the all-time chart on it, and you say, oh, shit, man, this coin just came out in January of 2024. Oh, my God, this coin is brand new, man. It came out in January 24, less than a penny, man. It just hit a penny, almost 2 cents. And then you actually do some deep dive and you find out it's a community too. Oh, and as soon as they find out you're a Hexigan, they love you. Oh my God. Now I got me a new YouTube channel. I got me a community. I got me a brand new coin that no one knows about. Time to get to pumping. And Richard is going to use the same type of dirty tricks he used on the last batch of kids who didn't know no better and give you the same rhetoric for the new Hex that they're going to start pushing and promoting everywhere, wide and far. This thing is only a penny. It's 2 cents. If anyone does know about the old, well, what happened to the old Hex? Oh, man, we had to switch because Ethereum, man. It's Ethereum's fault. It's not Hex's fault. It's Ethereum's fault and their gas fees. But hey, since we're on the topic, see how high the old Hex got? They're going to show them the old graph. You see how high the old Hex, it got up to 50 cents, man. You think this thing can't get up to 5 cents? It can't get up to 10 cents? The other one, this is how it's going to happen. So literally in about 6 months, max, especially if the Bitcoin cycle really pops off when we see Bitcoin go to 85, 90K, you better believe that same Hex token I just showed you at 1 cent will be at 5 to 10 to 15 cents. And Richard is about to go fucking crazy making this round saying, hey, only crypto that did 1,500% in the last 3 months. Bitcoin didn't do that. Bitcoin went from 75 to 90,000, right? It only went to 90,000. It didn't go that crazy, but Hex just went from a penny to 15 cents. Now, when you got people like me, well, what about the old Hex? They're gonna talk. He's gonna talk over you. That's an old Hex. You know what I did for people in Bitcoin back in 2013? Like that. Will be the conversation. I know how this shit works. I'm laughing because it's gonna be so messed up, but it's going to happen. again and again and again. And you can't be mad because there's always new money. As they say, there's a fool born every day. But I think by and large, especially looking at the tweet from Richard Hart, at least for the old one officially, this ends the Hex saga. Hexkins, you all were wrong. This new one is not Hex. This is different. This is Hex on post chain. So, yes, you have a new token, you have a different token, but I want to make sure the record stands. When it came to Hex, just point blank period Hex that you all claim would be the future of crypto, not only was it not the future, it is motherfucking dead. At least right now. I know it's gonna get a heartbeat because hey, even Terra Luna still has a heartbeat from the bots. But I mean, by and large, it is dead. And look at this, people. 14 hours ago, I'm bullish on Hex. Is this real or like what? People are really with it still. Oh my goodness. Someone still, I'm bullish on Hex. Oh man. Listen, let me check out these comments before I call it a day. I hope we have some hexagons. If it's any hexagons in the comments, I will let you all call in right now to give me your best explanation. I love hearing hexagons explain shit. It's almost like hearing a hexagon explain something, like, I don't know, which celebrity was in Scandal that you like, hear R. Kelly explain the tape, okay? Hear Trump explain Stormy, like hear Biden explain the weed deal back in the day, cannabis prison and all that other stuff. Like hear people explain their biggest corruptible moments, and it's just like I just want to hear a hexagon. I know it's going to be entertaining. Let me see. Going back to some of these comments before I call it a day. I know this put a smile on some of you all's faces as well, because I mean this is just crazy. Oh, do I have any thoughts on Polkadot? So I actually like what a lot of things Polkadot are doing. I think they have a lot of shit to get together in the background, but they actually have some cool and interesting things going on. If I believe, Ivan on Tech is doing, Polkadot's doing something where they're essentially giving funds to influencers. I believe Ivan on Tech got one of those funding things, so he's doing like in-depth research on them. We had some shows on it as well as our in-house analyst on it, Mike. He was doing some deep dives on it as well. Polkadot Party. So we have old videos on Polkadot. But like most things, it's just about growth and scalability. So haven't looked at it here in the short term, so I don't want to go too deep into it, but I do like them, so I'll give them another peek for sure. Let's see. Oh, Hyben, man, you about to be busy for the next few years. Hyben said, I'm watching episode 1 to current. We've been dropping gems since 2017 and seeing every cycle in this market. Hey, appreciate that, man. Let's see. MicroStrategy, aka Morgan Stanley, hilarious. You already know it. Bitcoin Lightning transactions cost anywhere from a few pennies to a few dollars. I can confirm that as well. Yep. Chris said Ethereum is not worth moving. Just trade it on exchange if you want to. I wouldn't cold storage it. So that's where you got to be careful at, of course, because it depends on the exchange, so on and so forth. You know how that go. Ethereum. Oh man, how many times I heard this? Listen, Power of 9, you caught it. That's why I was talking about it. But Ethereum upgrade coming March 13th. Dencun to reduce fees. Yes, we shall see. I hope it happens. Let's see. What else do we have going on? Yeah, let's see if the fees actually drop this time. They've been upgrading for years now. I just got Ethereum dust. I'm giving up on. Yeah, I got a ton of Ethereum dust. Like every few months, I see some Ethereum dust turn into like a few pennies or whatever. So that is pretty funny. Oh, due to the design issues with Ethereum, is Solana a viable alternative to Ethereum? Solana still has to get its scaling together. So I will say right now, no, but in the future, possibly yes. I do think so. They have the market cap, they have capital coming in. Literally at this point, with some of the headaches, Ethereum's running walls and the headaches they're starting to encounter. Solana could just poach some of those developers, right, and say, "Hey, what are some of the best things you worked on? Bring it here. We don't want this. We want that." So honestly, and it's like Bitcoin competitors are a little bit different because Bitcoin, like there hasn't been a lot of issues. People, for every issue there has been, is like they've been fixing it. It's been doing pretty well. So whereas Ethereum, that hasn't been the case. Like there is a real scaling issue that has been happening now for, I would say, 3 to 4 years to be real at a minimum. So it's a little bit easier to overtake that crypto because they haven't even figured out some of the more basic things, whereas other companies to just catch up to where Ethereum is at would not take that far. But because the way Bitcoin is built, using a different coding language, so on and so forth, to actually catch up to where Bitcoin is would take more resources, to say the least. So with that being said, I think Solana is in a good position. Anyone who has already came out and publicly said we are a competitor, they already have capital, they already have people working on the project, I think it's a good way. I mean, unless they literally just do a money grab and shit the bed, I don't see how they can get this wrong. At this point, it doesn't even need to be better than Ethereum. Like literally just make Ethereum. Like literally, if Solana just makes Ethereum and runs into the same scaling issues as they have and everything else, so what? It's still a second one, right? Maybe their fee, like maybe the day Ethereum has $150 fees, they have $50 fees. The day they have $150 fees, Ethereum has $50 fees. So my estimation, they don't even need to do anything that cutting edge. They can literally become a replica and get the same type of market share, in my point of view. So we'll see what happens with that, though. Let's see. Yes, Satoshi Slim, I agree with this. At this point, Ethereum should just shut off for a legit upgrade since they're already known as a CFI. If if it rights the ship, do it. I actually agree with that. They listen. They should just be like, hey, this project, we ain't dead. We just taking a quick 3-week pause, 6-week pause to figure out. The only issue with that, really, or I want to say only the biggest issue with that, of course, you will lose people as soon as you shut down. But if and when they were to come back and the problems would not be fixed, woo, you talking about capital leaving, it would be over with. I would think then you actually would see a mass exodus from them to a competitor. Let's see. You only got a Bitcoin ETF because Grayscale won a lawsuit. I agree with that, Chris. Strongly agree with that. Nigeria blaming crypto for Naira losing value is a preview of how other countries are going to respond to everyone fleeing to Bitcoin as a store of value. I also agree with that, but then it's going to be like, are we going to have a war on digitization? Like, I don't know, what's going to happen? Like, how does this happen? So, Ark, Kathy Wood is big on Soul. She said it. Yeah, I'm not using Ark or Kathy Wood as my investment. Like, honestly, I'm not even being funny. You should literally use me and us more than the cat. Like, Kathy Wood also was big on Coinbase. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know about that one, but I will say is worth paying attention to what they move only because of the capital. So the only reason I pay attention to Kathy Wood at all is because of ARK, right? The same way you will pay attention to BlackRock or MicroStrategy. It's like I'm not paying attention to Michael Saylor for Michael Saylor. I'm paying attention to him because he has MicroStrategy, right? Like that would move a lot of capital. So yeah, if I were to see ARK go in, like we're putting all our capital in Solana one day or we're taking it all off, then yeah, I'll be interested. But as far as like just because they like I said, they thought Coinbase was the one as well. So ARK is weighing on a Solana ETF. Hey, I can see it. I can see them all being ETFs. We'll see what happens. Let's see. $200 is my Solana exit. Then it goes straight to Bitcoin. I think honestly, a $200 Solana might just be the beginning. Think of it as far as to $1, 20 cents to $1. People are going to look at it the same way. They're going to say $200 Solana. Hey, we almost at 1,000. Like, you got to remember the psychological trading of this market. It is absolutely insane. What else do we have going on? Last few comments. I'm trying to say last few comments, but we got too many. Oh, man. J5, what's going on? Let's see. Kathy would dump Solana when she's ready. Okay, let me see. Last few comments. I'm seeing a lot of comments coming here. Brian, hey, it could be true. Brian said Reggie gonna crash all this shit. Listen, this the third party. You think you about to win a game and somebody comes out of nowhere with a headshot. Reggie could be the one to come in and say, how about I slow this entire market down? Negro Dama said, I brought Hex after the 50% drop. Wish me luck. The real question is, which Hex did you buy? Did you buy the Pulse Chain one or Ethereum, as they're calling it now, eHex? Like, he literally changed the name to it. It's hilarious. Which one did you buy? Bitcoin Chris said he's about to go live on Twitter after this, so check out Bitcoin Chris on Twitter. Will the Bitcoin layer 2s bridging Bitcoin and EVM work like Botanix and BVM? I haven't used them enough, but I think eventually everything bridging every blockchain and every different virtual, I think everything is going to be connected to answer that in the long term. In the long term, yes. In the short term, possibly no. Long term, yes, because it only makes sense. Again, a lot of you were here after. When I entered the market, you could not swap from one crypto to another. Like, you couldn't go from I'm going to go from Ethereum to this. I'm going to go to Bitcoin to Ethereum. I'm going to go to Bitcoin to this shitcoin. I'm going to go to this. You couldn't do that. You had to buy that asset. Point blank, period. There was no swaps. It was called cross atomic swaps. It came out late 2016, early 2017. And that's what, to me, really helped blow up in the market, because now you could, on an app, have a wallet, and you could swap from one crypto to another crypto to another crypto almost seamlessly. So that wasn't there when I started. And when it came, it was like so exciting. It was like, oh my God, like this makes sense. But why did it take so long? This wasn't here. So I'm looking at the same thing. We're talking about bridging and different blockchains. Like the same thing is going to happen, because from a technical point of view, you're looking at the same issues as far as connecting them. So I do think long term it happened. Will it happen in the short term? I don't know. There's still a lot of I would say the biggest thing as far as connecting all this stuff in the short term is that no one's done building. So let's say they do connect Bitcoin and EVM or something. Like, what if one of them changes the code? What if one of them has a soft fork? What if one of them has a hard fork? Like literally everything would change as far as that compatibility. So that's why I think it's a little bit further out than what we expect, but I do think it will eventually come. Let's see. Yeah, Power of Nine said I made some gains on Hex in 2020, locked it up for 2 years and cashed out. I knew the game, it made some more Bitcoin, which is my goal with all odds. And I agree with that. And that's my thing. Hey, if you're looking at Hex and just say, I'm just going to make some capital and make some money, that's why I put it in Discord. And even right now, like I see it. If Richard doesn't disappear on post-chain Hex, he can pump this to 5 cent easy. Like, again, a new cycle comes in, new people come in. They're going to be looking for the token that they can tell the world about. Hex Pulse Chain is new. He can pump it to 5% with his marketing. So as a tradable token, I think it's tradable and you can make some money on it. I mean, right there, we're looking at a 500% return if we're talking like that. So not saying that can't happen. I'm just saying, hey, make sure you're looking at the rest of the market. Make sure you got some money in Bitcoin. And remember, if you're reasoning is to make more fiat, then you're not in the wrong. But if you want to make more Bitcoin for the Bitcoin future, then that wouldn't be the best move as well. Richard Hart, where my money, man? Listen, where is the money? Somebody hit up Richard. Where the rest of the Hexicans at? Listen, spread this far and wide today, people. Spread it far and wide. I want some Hexicans to call in Friday, because I know they're going to tell us how this old e-hex, as they call it, was never what they were talking about. They always meant post-chain hex. I can't wait to hear these conversations. Other than that, that is the show for the day. Man, this is, I mean, listen, this has to be the most interesting market on the planet. I don't care what you say. This market is crazy, but that's the show for today. Make sure you smash that like. And today, share that video, share this video, and just title it, What Happened to Hex? Other than that, I will see you all on Wednesday. Or